Hi, this is Tamara from mooglyblog.com, and in this video I'm going to be demonstrating the stitch pattern for the Tidal Wave Shawl. The Tidal Wave Shawl is a free pattern on mooglyblog.com, so please go to Moogly to print it out and follow along. For this video I will be using Lion Brand's LB Collection Superwash Merino and a Furls J hook. Let me move these aside, and here you can see the beginning of the shawl itself. We start small and it gradually grows by two stitches in every row, getting gradually wider and wider. It's mostly made with this charcoal color with an aqua border, and of course you can use whatever colors you want. It's kind of hard to show the whole thing on camera, so let me keep pulling it forward a little bit here, put the hook down. And as you go, gradually, like I say, it gets wider and wider, and then you can add accent color stripes like so that start with one row, 2, 3, 4 with 2 of the first color in between. But again, you can put the stripes however you like. Like I said, then I did a border all the way around in aqua. So I'm going to show you the basic stitch pattern because even when you change colors, the actual stitch pattern for each row, it's just a 2-row repeat that goes throughout the whole pattern. So let's begin. Now, to begin the pattern, you're going to start with a slip knot, just like pretty much every pattern, like so, and we'll get ready to stitch. Okay, so with our slip knot on our hook, we're going to chain 2, 1, 2, then we're going to make 3 double crochets in the first chain we made, which is that one right there. I like to work into that back cup because that way you don't twist those first 2 chains. Now this entire pattern is made out of double crochets, which makes it a great beginner pattern and a great one to learn increases and decreases with and to practice your double crochet stitches because we'll be making a whole bunch of them. Now I mentioned earlier that it's a 2-row repeat. We aren't at that 2-row repeat yet. The first few rows are just a little bit different to get us set up. So I will let you know when we get there. Okay, there we go. So we've got 3 double crochets in that first chain, and that's row 1. Easy enough. For row 2, we're going to turn and chain 2, or chain 2 and turn, however you prefer to do it. Start with our chain 2. Then I'm going to work 2 double crochets in the first stitch right there. That chain 2 on this row and every other row does not count as a stitch on its own. So we'll put 2 double crochets right in that first stitch there. I always like to keep my fingers at the bottom of the stitch that I'm working. It helps stabilize the stitch a little bit more. But you, of course, can find whatever works best for you. Then after we've got our first 2 stitches there, we are going to double crochet in the next 2 stitches. So we had 3 stitches in the first row, and the second row will have 5 stitches. Or excuse me, 4 stitches. That's right, 3 stitches in the first row, 4 stitches in the second row. 2 in the first, and then the next 2. All right, then for row 3, we're going to start with a chain 2 again. Turn. Then here we're going to do a double crochet 2 together. That's a decrease. So we're going to go in the first one, pull up a loop, pull through 2, then with 2 loops still left on the hook, we'll yarn over again, go to the next stitch. If you're not familiar with double crochet 2 together, I do have a separate video tutorial on that. So then when we've got 3 loops left on the hook, we'll yarn over and pull through, and that's our double crochet 2 together decrease. Then we're going to double crochet in the next stitch twice. So 2 double crochets there, like so. Then pull up a little bit more yarn here. 2 double crochets in the last stitch. Remember, we don't work into the top of that chain 2. So for row 3, we had a double crochet 2 together, then 2 double crochets in the next 2 stitches. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we've gone from 3 stitches to 4 stitches to 5 stitches. So that gives you a pretty good clue of how we're going to continue. Now for row 4, again, start with chain 2, and then we 2 double crochet in each of the first 2 stitches. There's 1 and 2, 1 and 2, and then we are going to double crochet in the next stitch right in the middle there of our 5, like so. So we've got 2, 2, 1. Then with 2 stitches left, we're going to double crochet 2 together again. So with 2 loops left on the hook, we yarn over and start the second one. 3 loops left on the hook, we pull through, and there's our decrease. And we're starting to get a little bit of a curve here. If I lay it down, maybe it'll be a little easier to see. You can see we've got a little curve here on the side where we're increasing, and a little curve happening here on the side where we're decreasing. And we've begun our 2-row pattern. So one thing that helps is to pick a side. You can pick the increase side or the decrease side. We're going to be doing decreases all along one side and increases on the other. So put a stitch marker on one or the other so that whenever you see that on that side, you know which side you're on. That way you don't have to study the stitches too hard. I just find it's an easy way to help keep track. Let's go ahead and put it on the increase side. There we are. And then we're going to begin row, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we'll be doing row 5. And this is part of the 2-row repeat. So when we're on a decrease side, we always start with chain 2, then a double crochet 2 together, like so. There we are. That's our decrease. Then we're going to double crochet in each chain across, or excuse me, each stitch across until there are 2 stitches left. And that's how you remember. Oops. There we go. Yarn's getting caught up on my seat a little bit there. There we go. So we've got decrease, double crochets. How many stitches are left? 2, and we're on the increase side. So each of those last 2 stitches, it's harder to say than you'd think, each of those last 2 stitches will get 2 double crochets in them because we're on our increase side. So there's 1 and 2, like so, and then 2 in the last one. And like so. And every row that we go, we'll have a decrease, 1 decrease on the decrease side, and the 2 increases on the increase side. And that's why it's 2-row repeat, because sometimes you'll start with the increases and sometimes you'll start with the decreases. Every other one, really. So here we are on the increase side, and you can move this up as you go every few rows just to help you keep track of it so it doesn't get lost as you work. But when we're on the increase side, we work 2 double crochets in the first 2 stitches. There's 1, there's 2 in the first one, 2 in the next one, like so. And then again, work across until there are 2 stitches left. That includes that decrease over there here. So just regular double crochets until then, easy enough, like so. Till we get to those last 2, 1 and 2. Oops, we're in our last 2, so that's a decrease, like so. And you can see we're getting that ever gradually increasing shape that we saw in the original. Now I'm not going to make you keep watching me do it because it really is just that simple. It's just double crochets, in 2 sets of 2 there on the increase side, and 1 decrease on the other side. So every row you do will go up by 2 stitches. So if you look at the finished pattern, you can see, for instance, when you get to row 70, there will be 72 stitches because we had 3 in row 1, 4 in row 2, etc., on and on. Now, with the written pattern, you can see exactly where I did the color changes, but you can have fun with this pattern. Put the color changes wherever you want. Use different colors for the stripes. Make each stripe a different color. Start striping right away. Use a self-striping iron for the whole thing. I really like Lion Brand's Superwash Merino, but they have a ton of great yarns to choose from, so you can really make this pattern your own. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. Please do give us a like and subscribe to our channel if you did, and thanks so much for watching.